Hello, welcome to 30-Minute Mindfulness. So today, usually Ward, my fiance, is here to tend the doggies, and he's not here today. So if, by chance, you hear barking or snoring or something like that, let's just make that part of our mindfulness practice. So we'll do our best and have fun with it. So today, one of my clients asked me to talk about authenticity and networking. How do we be authentic and still show up to this networking, business stuff that can seem really fake? Networking can seem like a chore a lot of the time. It can feel fake. It's like you're only investing in this person to get something from them, and they're doing the same for you. So how do we participate in this whole networking thing and still find that authentic connection or still feel like we're being real? So perception and empathy work together to help us be sincere, even while we're seeking to forward our business or fill in, a philanthropy kind of thing that we're working on. So when we connect in authentic ways, we are expending energy without getting anything back. We're not feeding our soul. It's like we're performing or we're showcasing our best self. And that's what leads to that feeling of exhaustion or dread even. As we talk about all the time, wholeness is where we find peace and ease. So wholeness is allowing ourselves to be human. So when we're networking, it's important to be real. Of course, we want to put our best foot forward, but not to the point where we deny our realness. So this doesn't mean we show up to that networking meeting sobbing about our relationship that just imploded last week. No, it doesn't, not even close. But if someone says, hey, you seem down, your response would be appropriate for the situation, but still real. You might say something like, yeah, it's been a difficult couple weeks. Thank you for noticing that. That's really kind of you. I'm getting out to infuse some new energy and new life into my routine. Tell me about what's meaningful for you with the work you do. So I hold the realness without making this new acquaintance into my therapist. I allow my humanness to show to some degree, but it's not a taxing. I'm not like just unloading on this new person. So I allow my realness to be appropriate for the situation. So I have 6 ideas to remember when you are in a networking situation. So 6 ways to authentically connect when you're in this networking kind of situation. So reframe your perception. Networking is an opportunity to build lasting business relationships with people that you like hanging out with. Think long term. Sorry, here's the dogs. That was the UPS truck driving by. The business part develops through time. We don't get the business part right this second. Hey, you guys, it's okay. Thank you. Okay, so back to this. So the business part, we develop the business over time. Our goal is not to walk out of this networking meeting with the deal in hand, although occasionally that may happen. But that's not our goal. It's really important to stay out of the mindset that you're looking for the next paycheck or the next gig or the next lead. People feel that energy just as you feel it when people do it to you. That mindset breeds that inauthentic connection. Number 2, be present with the person you're talking to. The first sign of showing that we care is paying attention, which means making eye contact and listening well. When we pay attention, we are living authentically. That's a way that we feed the other person, if you will. When someone is speaking to you, don't look around to see who else is there. That can be really easy to do when we're at a meeting where it's all about building connections, right? So reel that in when you become aware that you're doing that. When your thoughts start to running to this, hey, I'm missing out on something else, there's more important things over there, is so-and-so here, or you start planning what you're going to say next in response to them, bring your awareness back to the person in front of you and what they're saying. And number 3, ask questions. Be an active listener. Seek to understand the human being in front of you. Don't just seek to understand their business, but try to walk away with an understanding of what gives this person meaning. Learn their why. Why do they do what they do? And number 4, when you're over a conversation, when somebody is you feel parasitical, somebody is parasitically attaching to you in some way, they're not giving you an opportunity to share or speak. Do your best not to stay for longer than you want to. This can be very hard, but it's actually more compassionate to be forthright and leave than it is to stay when we don't want to be there. We can, look for at least a pause in the conversation and say something like, "Thank you so much for sharing with me. I really sense your passion for this project you're working on. I see a colleague over there. I need to go connect with with him. I'll see you around." So just gently kind of, you need to leave when you're not feeling that authentic connection. You don't owe anybody your time or your energy. When we give too much, we leave feeling taxed and used and oftentimes exhausted. Number 5, be discerning. Stay out of the pleasing mode. It doesn't make you a bad networker or connector to say no to some people. If it's not a good fit and it doesn't feel right, don't say, "Hey, yeah, let's talk next week about that project," when you have no intention of doing that. Just say, "That's not a good fit right now, but I'll keep your contact info. If things change, I'll let you know." We're not here to collect business cards. It's not a race to speak to everybody in the room. Choose quality over quantity. So that was point number 6. So authenticity is about how you show up, not how others show up. When we develop our own authenticity, when we develop relationships that are authentic, the ones that are not tend to fall away or be less interesting for us. So we stop feeding those relationships because they don't give us much in return. It's not about changing that person or group to be more authentic. That is always a losing battle. It's about showing up as your best self. So if you're unable to show up as your best self consistently with that same person or group, then that's when self-awareness steps in. And we can start asking ourselves questions like, what's going on for me? Am I feeling threatened or unworthy for some reason? Do I feel the need to look more important than I am? Am I consistently being let down by this group or this person? Am I hoping for something that isn't possible with this group or person? When we unravel questions like that, we begin to understand where to effectively adjust our lives to create more of what we want. So we begin to see when it's our part. When do I need to look inside and adjust my thinking, as well as when circumstances no longer serve us? Both realizations are very powerful. So authenticity is when we stop trying to be perfect, when we stop trying to prop up this awesome version of who we are, when we stop trying to get the job, when we just show up as who we are. As Joseph Campbell says, the privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. So with that, I invite you to close your eyes. Let's do our 20-minute meditation, and we'll do it on cultivating authenticity today. And again, hopefully the doggies will be quiet while we sit. Thank you for being patient. So find a posture that's comfortable, something that's upright but not rigid, and let your body be at rest. Let your breath be at ease. Let that natural flow of your breath, that in and out, be your anchor point, your refuge to the present moment. Allow the stillness to be here. When we consider authenticity, is there any areas in your life that you could show up more authentically? Whether it's acquaintance type relationships or business relationships, or even deep, meaningful, steadfast relationships. Is it possible to bring more authenticity to how you show up to any of those relationships? Authenticity has boundaries. It has appropriate places for each relationship. So as we hold that tension of sort of understanding where it's appropriate, where it's not, to be more authentic here and more authentic there, we just want to hold that sense of being real, not hiding from, but also not oversharing. So how can we show up and be more real? Just have the sense of being real. Maybe when we're sad, we just acknowledge that sadness. It's not about forcing the smile. It's about saying, yeah, there is some sadness. So however that looks for you, what ways can we be more authentic in our expression of life? Bring to mind a situation, maybe at work or maybe with a friend. But bring to mind a situation that you struggle with being authentic in some ways. When you think about that situation or person, is there a sense of being threatened? Is there something that you're afraid of? Or maybe there's a sense of being unworthy. What's underneath that? Do you feel like you need to look perfect? Or like you have to be the one with the answers? Maybe you're the supervisor. In what ways is it difficult to show your humanity? Maybe that sense of inauthenticity comes from that sense of consistently being let down by this person or this group. Like consistently hoping for something that you never receive. Like love or care, concern. That consistently left wanting for something more, that connection that's more meaningful. Sometimes our authenticity is stifled when we're holding too tightly to a certain outcome. We're trying to push and pull for that one thing. Do you wish things to be different? authenticity comes when we can just allow what is to be. This too. This too. We see the fear. We see the nervousness. We see the anger. We see the sadness. All for what it is. And we acknowledge it. And to the degree we can, we let it go. I'll ring the bell in just another minute. So for this last minute, just come back to your breath. Just that rise and fall, that natural flow, that home base of the present moment. And when you're ready, please open your eyes. Well, thank you for being here today. I was a little, I think, nervous or overwhelmed because my doggies. It reminds me, 2 weeks ago, I got a comment on my YouTube channel. I have a 15-minute loving kindness meditation. And the comment was, hey, that was a great meditation, but I could hear some breathing in the background. And I just started laughing because at the time I had a doggie who was an older, elderly doggie, and she was, in her last few months of life. But anyway, when she would sleep, her snoring was really loud. So I tried to cover I did the meditation, and I lived in just a one bedroom apartment, so I tried to cover the sound with a recording, and like some ocean music or whatever. And clearly, I didn't do it well enough. But anyway, so today is reminiscent of that comment. It kept resounding in my head. So thank you for being here. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.